Imagine stepping off a crowded train after days without food or water to be met by a doctor in a crisp white coat, smiling politely as he decides whether you live or die in the next 10 seconds. The chilling image is one of those that thousands of prisoners in Auschwitz experienced upon meeting Josef Mengele, the Nazi physician whose name has become synonymous with cruelty, unrestrained power, and the darkest side of scientific ambition. Today, I will be informing you about the life and actions of Josef Mengele, known notoriously as the Angel of Death. By examining his early life, his role at Auschwitz, his medical experiments, and his escape after the war, and his lasting impact on history, we can understand not only the man himself, but the larger lessons his story teaches us about ethics, human rights, and the consequences of prejudice. To begin understanding how Mengele became such a central figure in the Holocaust, we must first look at where he came from. Josef Mengele was born in 1911 in Günzburg, Germany, into a wealthy, well-respected family. He grew up in a household known for discipline, structure, and ambition. As a young man, he excelled academically and developed a strong interest in anthropology, the study of human races, and later medicine. He earned doctorates in both fields, which was an impressive achievement for someone so young. Mengele's academic success, however, did not lead him towards healing or scientific curiosity, but instead it merged with the growing political climate of the age, with the ideals of Nazi Germany at the time. He joined the Nazi Party in 1937, a decision that aligned with his scientific interest with the racist beliefs of the regime. The connection would shape the rest of his life. With his academic background and political loyalty firmly in place, Mengele soon stepped into the role that would make him infamous. Mengele's next step took him to the place where science and cruelty tragically collided, Auschwitz. In 1943, Josef Mengele was assigned to the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp. It was there, among the barbed wire, barracks, and gas chambers, that he earned the chilling nickname, the Angel of Death. One of his primary duties was overseeing the selection on the arrival ramps. When trains arrived filled with Jewish prisoners, he would quickly gesture his hand and they would either be sent to forced labor or directly to the gas chambers. Survivors described how terrifying it was that someone who looked so calm and professional can make decisions with such deadly consequences. But Mengele's selections were only one part of his role at Auschwitz. The true horror of his presence came from what was called his medical research. Mengele's experiments were conducted without anesthesia, without consent, and without regard for human life. In a quote from a letter he wrote to his wife, Mengele says, quote, "My work sometimes jeopardizes my own health and even my life," end quote, which is ironic noting what was said above. They violated every ethic principle of medicine, especially since he was obsessed with twins, because he believed that studying them could unlock secrets about genetics and racial purity. He believed that, quote, "human beings have pedigrees like dogs," end quote. This was one of the theories he tested while experimenting on subjects. Some of his experiments included injecting chemical or dyes into children's eyes, amputating limbs for comparative study, performing unnecessary surgeries, and killing twins at the end of experiments just to compare their organs. These actions caused extreme suffering and death. Many of the victims were children, especially twins whom he personally selected from the ranks. He also experimented on pregnant women, people with disabilities, and Roma gypsy people. In one of his experiments with a pregnant woman named Ruth Elias, she was 3 months pregnant when she arrived at Auschwitz in 1943. Mengele had not noticed and sent her to a different camp, but once he was notified that she was pregnant, they had her sent back. It quotes, "On August 4th, Elise gave birth. She says, Mengele, he gave the order to bandage my breast. He wanted to make an experiment to see how long an infant could live without food. In the beginning, the baby was crying, then only weeping. His belly was swollen. Every day, Mengele came to take notes on him, and after the 7th day, he said, 'I will come and fetch you tomorrow.' She told a Jewish doctor about this, and during this, she gave her a vial of morphine to give to the baby so the baby would die and not have to go through the experiment any longer." End quote. "I killed my own child, and it didn't take long before the child stopped breathing." His work produced no scientific breakthroughs. Instead, it revealed how ideology and cruelty can twist science into a weapon. As the war neared its end and Nazi Germany began to collapse, Mengele story took another dramatic turn, one that kept him out of the courtroom and evading consequences for the rest of his life. When Germany surrendered in 1945, Mengele cleverly avoided immediate capture. He disguised himself as a regular German soldier and went about Germany unnoticed for several years. After this, he got false papers, which allowed him to move to South America. He lived in Argentina, then Paraguay, and then Brazil. Often, he was supported by Nazi sympathizers who provided money, shelter, and fake identities. When major Nazi leaders like Adolf Eichmann were captured and tried, Mengele was evading justice for more than 3 decades. He died in 1979, suffering a stroke while swimming, but he wasn't actually pronounced dead until 1985 when they found that the remains that they found were actually his. Although Mengele died without facing justice, the legacy of his actions continues to shape our world today. Josef Mengele's legacy is not one of scientific achievement, but of warning. His actions serve as a powerful reminder of what happens when science is twisted and by racism and ideology. Today, his name is often invoked in discussions about medical ethics, especially when teaching about informed consent, human dignity, and oversight that are essential in research. His crimes also reinforce the importance of remembering the Holocaust and to honor the victims. Not only to honor the victims, but to recognize how ordinary people, when given unchecked power and extreme beliefs, can commit extraordinary evil. With this understanding of his life, his crimes, and the lessons he left behind, we can now reflect on the broader significance of Josef Mengele's story. In closing, Josef Mengele represents one of the darkest intersections of power, science, and hatred in human history. From his privileged childhood to his horrific actions at Auschwitz and his decade-long escape from justice, his story reminds us of how dangerous unchecked authority can be. By studying his actions, we can reinforce the importance of ethics standards in medicine. By learning about his crimes, we can honor the victims of whose lives were forever changed. And by remembering this history, we commit ourselves to ensuring that such atrocities never happen again. Thank you.